In the news, that breaking police officer abducted by bandits in Kwara North, colleagues escapes ambush. So, a police officer was abducted by the bandits. That was what the news reads. But later we understand that it's not just one police, that other police truly escaped the ambush, but unspecified number of policemen have been kidnapped by the bandits in Kwara North. The issue of terrorism in Kwara State is something that the security operatives has remained helpless. The citizens are helpless, and I am not seeing anybody who can solve the problem in Kwara North. I'm going to tell you the reason why. Something like an agreement has been reached about Kwara State. Kwara State has been sold during Obasanjo's regime. Follow me. Kwara State has been sold during Obasanjo's regime. And the video you are going to watch at the end of this news is the video that explains, I will give you just a spotlight on how Kwara State was sold during Obasanjo's regime. And because of Kwara State, Obasanjo was convinced to order the military to shoot at sight the members of Oduduwa People's Congress, OPC. Obasanjo ordered military. If you see any OPC member, shoot them at sight. We are going to come into that on how Kwara State was sold. And you see that state, the insecurity going on in that state, if anybody tells you they are fighting insecurity, that they are deceiving you. The state has been sold. And this video is going to, open your eyes to see the illegitimate things that goes on in this country and the motives why some persons venture into politics and so on and so forth. And for the policemen that were kidnapped, I feel sorry for most of the security operatives who are genuinely trying to protect the people, not people who are colluding with terrorists. There are some people who are genuinely trying to work. I pity them because either they know or they don't know. You are trying to fight terrorists, that people that are paying you are the same people who imported them. How possible is it? Come on, employ common sense now. The terrorists you are fighting, the people paying you are the same people paying sponsoring the terrorists. How can you defeat such people? Later on, every now and then, either the police or the military or DSS will come out to tell you that these bandits have superior power. In Nigeria, we take everything for granted. Erufai made a statement that Tinubu's administration is paying bandits. It's just 3 weeks ago. Did you see anybody that debunked it? No. Babadatia made the same thing. They are making this allegation, or they made this allegation on a national television, Chinese television. So it's not something you say news, it's a rumor. It is a public conversation. They said Tinubu's administration are paying bandits. They put them on payroll. So you are fighting the people, the same government paying you are putting them on a payroll. So unless Tinubu's administration will come and debunk it, and if they debunk it, I think these people who have come to make the allegation know something about it. Maybe they will still come back to the national television and speak more. The same Kwara State is where Kowa Baraje came from. Kowa Baraje is the man that was boasting that they imported these militias from 5 Sahel countries to remove Goodluck Jonathan. I want you to understand that there is a big problem, like there is a cloud ahead of everyone. This has nothing to do with tribe. Remove all this tribe sentiment from this thing now, because it is going to affect everybody. It is going to affect everybody. You will see what will happen from 2026, ending of 2026, where politicians will manipulate these terrorists more because of election. You will see what will happen. So we have to understand the truth. You will know the truth, and only the truth will set you free. And let's get it started. Sarah Reporters published this news, and I think I've seen it in other news media, but let's take this one from Sarah Reporters. Don't forget that at the end of this article, you are going to see the video I'm telling you about on how Kwara State was sold for a very long time ago. Now, the article reads that police officers identified as Ezra has been abducted by bandits in the Patiji local government area of Kwara State, sparking renewed fear over the safety of the security operatives in the volatile Kwara North region. Out of the article. Anytime they said the Boko Haram attacked the military base or the bandits ambush and kidnap police and so on and so forth, 2 things will just strike my mind. Number 1, if the policemen, the military are being kidnapped, killed, the responsibility of protecting the people is in their hands. So if they are being kidnapped, what is the faith, the destiny of ordinary civilians like me and you? If these people will have the courage to go to military base and kill military men in their base, what is your hope? The article continues. The incident reportedly occurred in the early hours of Thursday, that is today, between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. while the officers was returning from duty in Patigi town and heading towards Nnamdi. Sources told Nopeko TV and Israel, an indigene of Ndanaku community, was riding on a motorcycle ahead of a colleague when the attackers ambushed them and opened fire. While his colleague managed to escape, Israel, who was riding in front, was targeted, overpowered, and whisked away to an undisclosed location. The source said the bandits were shooting guns sporadically. The article continues. The abduction of a serving officer underscores the growing audacity of the armed groups operating across Edo and Patigi, where residents have repeatedly raised alarms about rising insecurity. We are talking about the audacity of these people. How do they, summon this courage? How do they come to this point? How were they able to, to have all it takes just to terrorize without fear, turn the vicinity they are to a safe haven for them, and they are still progressing, walking free, dominating, chasing people away, carrying out ethnic cleansing? All right. The abduction of a serving officer underscored the growing audacity. Okay, I've read that paragraph. Now, the next paragraph reads that as of press time, the security authorities had not issued an official statement on the attack or confirmed whether rescue efforts are underway. Let me stop the article here, even though the article continues. Now, the issue here is this. You see, I think this thing have to continue more and more for Nigerians to wake up. T.Y. Danjuma made a statement. He said, if you think or you are relying on the security operative to save you, you all will die one after the other. What he said so many years ago is working now. So, let me know what you think about this. Let us focus on what Buba Galadima said on Arise News, why they brought Buhari into politics because of the fight for the soul of Kwara State. Listen to how Kwara State was sold.
Well, some of us who recruited him into politics had a mission. And I will reveal that mission today. General Buhari came into politics. It wasn't his province. He never liked politicians because he believed we are fake and that we don't mean what we say. But there was an incident that made some of us to recruit him, convince him, and use the other people to convince him to join politics. And even though we had our own agenda, because in 1999 and 2000, the OPC was on rampage in some parts of the country, especially Southwest, and have inconvenienced a lot of people from this part of the country. And to the extent that they mobilized over 500 vehicles to come and invade Ilorin with the sole aim of uprooting what they called Fulani structures in Ilorin. And we felt that was too much. And Obasanjo was doing nothing. President Obasanjo was doing nothing. President Bola Tinubu, then governor of Lagos, was doing nothing. And some of us felt that those group of people were being encouraged by their leaders in position of authority. So how do we stop that? And I called a meeting in Kaduna at Alhaji Bashir Dalhatu's house in a place called Unguan Kaji, directly opposite the house of General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. And some of those we invited included Alhaji Wadanas, Professor Yadudu, Bashir Dalhatu himself, Alhaji Yahya Sulahamma, and a host of others, about 34 of us. And we sat down to reason, how do we save our people from this OPC menace? So we said, I suggested that we have to, because you remove government through only two ways, the bullet of through the barrel of the gun and through the ballot box. And they said it was impossible to challenge General Obasanjo. That was how Buhari came to our mind. And when he was approached, he had a very unkind words for politicians. But since he didn't say he was not doing, we still pursued him. To cut long story short, we achieved our first purpose of putting a brake to what OPC was doing, because immediately Buhari joined partisan politics, and we had a very big outing in Daura to initiate him into politics. The Obasanjo government became restive and was shaken to its bone marrow, and because those were some of his our thinking. So Obasanjo had to really checkmate the OPC. So for that reason, we have achieved our first purpose of bringing General Buhari into partisan politics. So the remaining now is history. They wanted to dismantle, as what is happening across the country now. They wanted to dismantle his platform of ANPP, APC, ANPP. And we made a counter platform by establishing the Buhari Organization, TBO, which we used as a platform for promoting his political ideals. Of course, all these are now history. Some smart people who are politically ambitious came in and threw us out. That is how we parted ways with him. Those of us who followed him blindly for 15 years, Sule Hamma as our leader, and myself as his deputy and the operational head of the Buhari Organization, we agreed that we should not look for political appointment, or we should not look for elective office. Our idea is just to push General Buhari to become president, so that if we become the engine room of his government, we would now influence certain things in the country. And we had those things listed in our minds. And the greatest mistake was that, and it's what people also see as Buhari's inability to do well in government, because he has cut the umbilical cord, those who brought him and have ideas about what he has to do, and he recruited new people. And these new people never had an idea at all as to why even Buhari joined politics. But all these are now history. We pray that God grants him Al-Jannat al-Firdaus, and we pray that God receives him and forgive him. For some of us, we have forgiven him already. Definitely, Buhari wouldn't have done anything outside what God has destined will happen.
Okay. Alhaji, thank you so much. We're looking forward to your new book. You will leave to be able to write that story and tell it. And we'll be there to celebrate with you when you launch the book. And it will be another, repository of Nigerian history. I will learn from you. Like I said, you're not going anywhere soon. I wish you the very best of health. Trust you're doing better now. We heard you've been under the weather for a bit, but we're happy to see you doing well. Thank you so much, Alhaji. Thank you for your time.